What's up, guys? It's Eli Knight here with Knight Jiu-Jitsu, and I got my best friend here, Jared Jessup, and we've been discussing some different things like we do when we get together. So we're talking about the Kimura trap, and the Kimura trap is interesting. The Kimura trap is it's the threat of the Kimura from different places, different directions, different positions. And the thing that makes it a trap, it's using the submission as a position itself. Because as the threat stays intact, now that person who I'm threatening with the Kimura has to consider that before they make any other movement. So I'm using it to advance my position and keep threats going, and maybe transition not only from position to position, but from the Kimura to the straight arm bar to the triangle to the back to wherever. So that's why it's such a versatile, multifaceted tool to have in your toolbox. So what do you think? What's one of your favorite places to hit the Kimura trap from?
So one of my favorite is from the side control position. Okay. I can get the arm wrapped up and then use the Kimura trap. So I want one hand on the wrist, and then one hand goes around into my own wrist. And one of the interesting things about this is I'm going to keep it glued kind of to his center mass. And usually I find myself using this the most when he sits back on his heels and he's real kind of centered right here. So I might be looking to just first off shoot the knee through to replace guard or something, but if he's real centered right here, then it makes him stable. And so I'm going to use this grip to get connected to his center mass. Now once I'm centered, I'm going to go flat on my back and roll all the way around, and then that makes a little hole right here. I can shoot my knee in right here. Sometimes he'll fall back, then my leg can come over. Here, I can end up in this kind of awkward position here, or I might, if he's trying to sit up, I might be able to come up and start taking the back. We've got several options, but we're in this Kimura trap position, and he's got to kind of scramble, which gives the opportunity right here.
It's interesting because like you're attacking it from bottom side, right? Yeah. So traditionally a bad position, but you're threatening it on me, and a lot of times this happens because like I just got done passing your guard, I'm trying to push the leg through, or I was like tucking or something, but like Jared was talking about, like when he goes to threaten this and he's trying to keep my hand tucked, well, I'm trying to too. The worst thing I can do right now is let my arm float away from my body and allow him, to finish that Kimura. So I've got to keep it close to me if I want to try to protect my arm. And that's what gives him that ability to maneuver around it and start to take my back and flip me over and do all the other attacks like that. So that's a really useful place. I think that's one of the best places to use the Kimura trap. I also like to attack it from modified guard, bottom, like half guard. I like from knee shield, from here like this, because this is such a strong framing position, and I'm trying to defend him like passing my guard and attacking me from top. So a good way for me to do this here is like with my knee shield intact, and I'm hooking the bottom inside leg. I'm posting usually on his shoulder with this hand somewhere, either one of the other shoulders or even on his head, and then I'm blocking here too. So while he's trying to maneuver past this, a lot of the time he'll allow me to get access to this arm. So whenever I go to set up, I'm trying to hook this and pull it toward me like this. And then it's kind of the same thing as Jared was talking about. Like I can allow my knee shield to slip out because he's going to tuck his arm. If he doesn't tuck his arm and he allows it to come out, I'm just going to finish the Kimura from here. So he'll almost always start to tuck his arm. So now, the difference in this one right here is that because I'm hooking this bottom leg down here where you can see, well, the way I'm going to use this for the Kimura trap, because he's going to be very strong defending this. He's got his shoulder, lat, chest, everything activated to be able to defend this, and I'm trying to pull. This is going to be a tug of war. So instead, what I'm going to look to do, I'm going to keep the bottom leg hooked, and I'm also going to try to use my other leg to pummel inside like this. Now, again, like if he wants to sit back, then I'll do just what Jared did a while ago, and we'll spin around and take the back. But if he's driving forward instead, because he feels like he's accomplished side control, then I'm just going to push this under his body, use my other foot to help elevate over, and then I'm going to flip him over to top. Now we wind up in this kind of T position here like this, almost like the beginning stages of a crucifix, and I still have that Kimura intact. Right, so now we can start pummeling inside, I can start attacking here, I can start looking for chokes, everything else. But again, that's a way that we use that threat of that Kimura to help navigate from position to position to where maybe I have a more target-rich environment, right?
Back that one more time?
Yep.
So once he flips me over here, he's got that nice hook inside the leg, goes to top of me right here. One of my only options here to come up is to start to come up on this arm. And as I start to come up, it allows him to shoot the knee in and start to trap everything up, which is a great use of that Kimura trap.
Otherwise, he can turn and face me. That's also another common response. But whenever he does that, because he's thinking about turning over and trying to get on top of me, he creates a pocket under his lat right here now. Now I can start throwing this over or even over the shoulder, and now we can start taking him over this way. Now I've got really good reverse triangle setups and everything else. So again, it really forks the guy. It creates dilemmas all over the place whenever you start to attack this Kimura threat, where he's just faced with this idea of, it's like, I can go this way and it's bad, or I can go this way and it's bad. So it's like, which is the worst way to go, or which is the better way to go that I think I can maybe navigate my way out of. So that's what, one of the most powerful things about the Kimura trap.
And it's nice because you're in a chill spot. He can hang out there. He's in no rush to go anywhere, and I'm gonna have to go one direction or the other, and he can kind of wait on me to move whichever way I go. It's giving him an opportunity.
Yeah, that's actually higher level jiu-jitsu whenever you create conditions where he has to choose how he loses, right? Mm-hmm. So that's kind of the next level of jiu-jitsu, is like, I don't want to just force threats, because now I have to impose my will on the guy. Now I have to be bigger, stronger, faster. I don't want that. I don't want a completely athletic-based game. It's good to have those physical attributes. But if I can cause him to create conditions where he makes mistakes and I just capitalize on it because I know the most common mistakes he's going to make, then that makes me a lot more efficient in my game, right? And that's the ultimate goal. As far as other places where we can find this Kimura trap concept, this one looks a little flashier, and it's not really. If you can do a rollout, you can do this move. And sometimes we're here where he's seated and we're playing this kind of like seated versus standing, and I'm looking to pass, right? Now, what will happen here a lot of the time, if I step in too close, he's going to start getting hooks and connections on me. When he starts to establish different connections, now I'm going to be in trouble because he's going to be threatening me with off balances and sweeps. So what I need to think about doing then is I need to figure out how to circumvent a lot of these weapons right here. So something that's good is if I start to step offline, and I'm going to get a nice tight collar tie, and I'm going to collar tie and try to push him to the floor. Now, most common reaction is he's going to post, and if he just posts for 1 second and creates that little triangle of space right there, I'm going to take this hand from the back of his collar here, and I'm going to dive it under his armpit here and catch this on the way over. Now, it looks a little more acrobatic than it actually is, but all I'm really doing, I'm even posting on this hand, I'm just getting bicep to bicep connection. Now that this hand is free after the landing, I can come in and I can stuff that wrist to his belly, and we're back in this T-frame position. And the ultimate, the main thing off of here is that Jared can either turn toward me or away from me, right? Boom, he turns toward me like this. I'm gonna either throw this over his shoulder, or if his hip is closer, whenever he starts to turn up, then I can hook his hip, and then we can start taking him over to this other side, and I can start getting my seat belts and just attacking the back like regular. So again, I like to use that one a lot whenever we're looking for a pass, because I know if I have to step in here and fight the hands and fight the feet and all that stuff, then it's gonna be a pain. So if I can get here and just collar tie him like this, and he thinks that I'm gonna look to post with this hand, I'm actually just gonna post on the floor. This one's gonna come off, and I'm gonna shoot in, thinking about getting bicep to bicep with him. And then as soon as this one's free, I'm gonna come over, catch that wrist. I've got my double wrist lock configuration. And so now we're back to that Kimura trap. Right?
One other place you can get it from is side control top here. If I've kind of already started to find this this Kimura grip, a lot of times I'll have to get a shin staple here. So I've kind of stapled the bicep. And then once my hand starts to come over, maybe I'm not feeling the full Kimura grip or whatever, I can slide my leg under the head and then kind of cross. I've got a nice little choke here, but from here I'm in that basic Kimura trap, right? So I'm kind of slid off the top of the head. Now if my leg slides off, he wants to start sitting up, then I can start shooting the leg in. I've got it right here again.
And that's gonna be my most common response, is because like whenever Jared does go over like that, he goes here, this way. Once he starts to fall over, I have to defend my arm, but then I also don't like for this leg to be over my head, because I know bad things are going to result from that. I'm going to get like leg scissor choked, or he's going to like be able to use that leverage to pull my arm away and finish the Kimura. So I'll be fighting this battle right here, right? But I've got to make some kind of advanced move. So I've either got to, again, turn away from him or turn toward him. And a common reaction is going to be a turn toward him. I create that pocket of space, and then I just screwed myself even worse, right?
Now, one thing you can do once you've fallen off the side here is we can also talk about the difference in the thumb versus no thumb grip. Typically speaking, if I'm doing Kimura or a thumb grip will keep things away from me, no thumb will keep things close to my center. So if I start to hop off the side here, now that I've hopped off the side, I want to keep his arm glued to my center. So I'll kind of switch from this thumb to no thumb grip and keep it glued to me. Now, if he's not going anywhere, he's not getting up at all, I can still finish the Kimura by dropping my elbow in right here. Now as I go belly down, I can drop my ribs on his shoulder and start to lift. right here, and it's a nice way to finish the Kimura from the Kimura trap, and in a Kimura that doesn't look like a standard Kimura.
Yeah, and
I want to say Kimura.
Yeah, it's a lot of Kimuras. So, but yeah, it's cutting my shoulder away. So even though all this part of my body, except for my arm, feels free, I can't mechanically turn and face anymore because of the awkward angle that he's creating. So I mean, that's obviously the braking mechanic behind the Kimura. So the Kimura is so dangerous because it is keeping this 90-degree bend in the arm makes it attack the shoulder primarily, but honestly, like the most catastrophic injuries I see from Kimuras is not the shoulder. Like this, there is some kind of separation of the shoulder, sometimes dislocation, but a lot of the time you actually break the humerus or even like sublux the elbow. Yeah. It's just a nasty submission.
It's really gross.
Yeah, it's disgusting. Yeah. So these are some really helpful ways and helpful environments that you can employ the Kimura trap, I feel like. So either using them offensively to go from position to position, creating forks in the road and causing dilemmas where the guy has to choose now what he's going to try to defend first. And you're already at least 2 to 3 steps ahead because you created the condition yourself and he's just responding to it. So you already have closed off those doors and he's going down the maze and right into your trap.
Like Eli was saying, it's a position. It's the position of the submission. So while it's not inherently finishing the submission itself, it's kind of like a sub position that allows you a lot of control and a lot of opportunity. So.
Yeah. So leaving a comment down there where your favorite place to hit the Kimura is, and also like if we missed any Kimura trap setups, because I know that we did, but I want to know what your favorite ones are. So just drop us a comment, and then we'll try to diagnose it, maybe include it in a future video, and then also be on the lookout too for a video on how we can defend and escape and kind of circumnavigate the whole Kimura trap system. Thank you, Jared. Love you, brother. Yep. And keep watching Night Jiu-Jitsu channel, guys.